Every Doctor Doom variant explained. There's a version of Doctor Doom who became a literal god, ruling over an entire fused universe with absolute mercy, feared and worshipped in equal measure. There's a version who isn't even a real person, just a machine built to think, act, and die exactly like him, so the real one never has to risk anything at all. And there's a version so obsessed with proving he's smarter than everyone else in existence that he hunted down and killed a literal sorcerer just to take his power for himself. With Avengers Doomsday finally giving us Robert Downey Jr.'s take on the character, and that trailer already breaking Disney's own viewing records, now's the perfect time to go back and break down where this character actually comes from, and just how many versions of him already exist across the multiverse. This is every major Doctor Doom variant explained. Classic Doctor Doom. Victor Von Doom was a genius from the moment he was born, raised in grinding poverty in the fictional country of Latveria, watching his mother die using dark magic to try and save him as an infant, and watching his father get hunted down and killed by soldiers before Victor was even a teenager. Alone and furious at a world that had taken everything from him, he taught himself science and sorcery in equal measure, becoming brilliant enough to eventually enroll at the same American university as a young Reed Richards, the man he would spend the rest of his entire life obsessing over. An experiment gone wrong during their rivalry left half his face permanently scarred, and instead of accepting help from the one person who might have actually fixed it, his pride sealed him behind an iron mask forever. Everything that came after, the armor, the throne of Latveria, the endless decades-long war with the Fantastic Four, traces back to one arrogant professor who simply could not stand the idea of being second best at anything. Doombot. Victor Von Doom is far too paranoid and, frankly, far too valuable in his own mind to risk his actual life in most confrontations, so he builds exact robotic duplicates of himself instead, called Doombots. These aren't cheap decoys either. They're virtually indistinguishable from the real thing, right down to matching memories, matching intelligence, and matching ego. Heroes across the Marvel Universe have fought, defeated, and even outright killed what they were completely convinced was Doctor Doom dozens of times over the decades, only to find out sometime later that the real Victor was sitting safely on his throne the entire time. It's become such a running joke in the wider Marvel Universe that other characters now instinctively assume every single Doom they encounter is fake until it's somehow proven otherwise. The real Victor, predictably, finds that entire reputation absolutely delightful. Future Foundation Doom. After literal decades of war against the Fantastic Four, one particular timeline saw something almost nobody in the Marvel Universe ever expected to witness. Doom actually changed. Following the events of Secret Wars, this version of Victor joined the Future Foundation, working directly alongside Reed Richards instead of against him for the first time in his life, using his genius to help rebuild a broken reality instead of conquering it piece by piece. It wasn't redemption born out of guilt or regret, though. It was Doom finally getting the one thing he'd always secretly claimed to want more than conquest itself: genuine recognition as Reed's intellectual equal, not his sworn enemy. For once in his long, bitter life, simply being the smartest man in any given room wasn't enough for him anymore. He wanted, more than anything, to be the best man in the room too. Ultimate Doom. In the separate Ultimate Universe, Victor Von Doom isn't just scarred by an old lab accident anymore. He's barely recognizable as human at all. This particular version fused his own body with raw mystical energy so completely and so violently that he became something far closer to an actual demon wearing Victor's old memories than a genius in a suit of technological armor. Diplomacy, subtlety, or any pretense of nobility were never really an option for this version of Doom, where the classic Victor at least maintained the illusion of royal dignity and honor. This ultimate variant fully embraced pure, unfiltered destruction instead, quickly becoming one of the most feared and consistently violent threats that entire alternate universe ever produced. Doom Supreme. In one particular alternate reality explored in the multiverse, Doom didn't just stop at conquering nations and building armies. He set his sights on magic itself, the one field of power he'd never fully mastered. He tracked down, challenged, and ultimately killed Doctor Strange in single combat, taking the Eye of Agamotto and claiming the title of Sorcerer Supreme entirely for himself. With both genius-level science and the complete, unrestrained power of mystical sorcery finally combined in one single person for the first time in his history, this version of Doom became something no other variant on this entire list ever quite managed to achieve, a being that was completely and utterly unchallenged in absolutely every single field he'd ever wanted to master and dominate. God Emperor Doom. After the entire multiverse itself violently collapsed during the events of Secret Wars, one particular Victor Von Doom did something no other variant on this list even attempted, let alone accomplished. He rebuilt everything from nothing, using power on the scale of a genuine cosmic being, something closer to the Beyonders themselves than any hero or villain before him. He fused the shattered remnants of countless destroyed universes into a single patchwork world called Battleworld, ruling as its absolute god emperor for years afterwards. And here's the part that completely breaks everything you think you already know about this character. Under his personal rule, that entire cobbled-together world was against all odds actually peaceful, genuinely contented, safe, structured, and stable in a way none of his critics ever thought possible. The tyrant everyone had feared for decades finally got the ultimate, unlimited power he'd always craved, and instead of simply destroying everything in his path like everyone expected, he used it to build something quietly better than anyone, including his harshest enemies, ever thought he was capable of. Even Doom himself seemed genuinely surprised by what he became. From a scarred, orphaned professor obsessed with proving he was better than Reed, to a literal god who finally built a world he could actually be proud of ruling, Dr. Doom was never just another supervillain hiding behind green armor and a golden mask. He's proof that genius, wounded pride, and tragedy can build a hero, a monster, or something complicated in between, depending entirely on what kind of power he's eventually given the chance to wield. Which Doom variant do you personally think is the most dangerous of them all? Drop your pick down in the comments and subscribe, because Volume 2 is already coming, breaking down even more hidden versions of Marvel's single greatest villain.